Okay, we got 9 o'clock. I call this meeting order and a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, let's say pledge of allegiance. Stand up. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Got public comment on the agenda now? If there isn't any, we'll have JD come up and give the engineer update.
Good morning. It's a good day in Page County. Just a reminder of how we're tied with the technology and modern conveniences as elevators. The engineer update went out Tuesday afternoon. We're blading, and we got a blade following the custom rock all around. We're hauling rock with 4 trucks. That was, although I did see a truck tractor in for a service in the shop this morning. Got brush crews working at a couple locations, and 110th Street rock haul is complete, and they're working on 150th from 59 to D Avenue there at Essex. In the shop, we've been pulling snow equipment off the trucks. The cat mower tractors in the shop getting prepped. On Monday, number 8 was in Atlantic, and yesterday it was down here working. We've got new gauges in the fuel tanks. We plan to install belt conveyors in the drop chute so we can do edge rut work with rock on our pavements on 2 trucks, and the spray patcher's been in to check. We haven't bought oil yet. It's a little cooler, but that's where we're headed. On construction, 190th Street continues work. We're gonna have a deck conference pre-pour on the deck this afternoon at 1. And the target deck placement date is next Thursday, based on weather. The next item is on the agenda. Next week, on April 11th in the evening, I'll have a public hearing on the 5-year construction program and the budget, and a bit of good news. If you recall, last fall, there was some complaints about the guardrail down on J64 at the bridges, and I put in a safety grant for that. That's been funded to the tune of $140,000. So we'll do guardrail on 3 bridges west of M48 or Hackberry on J64. There's 3 bridges to the west there, the middle tarc. Well, they're all tarcs. Okay. Probably let that in the fall. It's fiscal year 25 money. Questions on the engineer's update part?
Looks good.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is signing the title sheet for the Essex North Bridge. This is the raised grant bridge scheduled for letting in August. We remember that the ICEA put in 9 bridges across 9 counties. Page County is one of them. 80% of our estimated is $2,960,000 in federal and extra federal money coming to Page County. FM matches that. If our estimate's correct. I'm hoping the estimate's a little high compared to the bridge we just did west of Essex. They're identical bridges, except for the skew. So I have the title sheet with me today. I need you guys to make a motion to sign it, and then all three of you need to sign it.
I'll move that we sign the title sheet for project HDP CO73 139 6B 73 for the Essex North Bridge replacement in FY '25.
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second, or discussion on that? We'll vote.
Yes.
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 Okay. On that conveyors, do the edge rut, put on the truck there, when will they be going? Do you have a?
I'm hoping they're going next week.
Oh, don't you date it? Okay.
Does that conveyor system, does that have a way to adjust the width on that to what you put down?
No, I think the chute's about wide. I'm not aware of this adjustable.
Okay.
So thank you for that signature. There'll be a federal aid funding agreement coming next week. I just got it yesterday, not in time for the agenda, so it's coming. We're excited to see that.
Okay.
Great, thank you.
Okay, next up on the agenda, we have resolution 26, authorizing approving certain loan agreement, providing issuance of $9 million general obligation county jail bonds. So, is that resolution? Got that over there? So we need a motion
I'll
on
make a
that.
motion that we approve resolution 26-2024, authorization of approving certain loan agreements providing for issuance of $9 million in general obligation county jail bonds, series 2024B, and providing for levy of taxes to pay the same.
I'll second that.
Okay, got a motion and a second, or discussion on that? If none, we'll vote on that resolution.
Yes.
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 Okay, we can sign that. Next up on the agenda, we have appointing the Page County Planning and Zoning Commission. A couple applications.
Yep, so, I got, did you see them?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I thought they were both really good.
Mm-hmm.
I would make a motion for Alan Sunderman, based off,
To the, what? Planning and
for
zoning?
the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay, got a motion for Alan Sunderman, be appointed to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Have a second? I'll second that. Okay, got a motion and a second, or discussion on those? We'll vote then.
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Okay, done now. Next up on the agenda, we have the flow of water from Andy Audie's property to the river on 190th. Andy's here.
We've talked to this, I've talked to JD about this, and he says he's gonna fix it. They raised the tube coming out of my property at least a foot. They've covered up 2 tile outlets that I've asked them nicely to uncover in the last 3 to 4 weeks since I got the tube done. And they haven't uncovered the tile lines. He's gonna put a T in the tube, which agree needs to happen. But he wants to bury a tile under through the road to drain my tile. But it also needs to be low enough and big enough to carry the ditch water so my bottom drains.
Right.
I just wanna verify how big a tile we're gonna put in there and make sure it's low enough to drain that ditch before we start, so we don't get done, and then it's like, oh, this is not gonna work.
Right.
Yeah.
So what is the plan there, JD? So the reason for the problem is the tube we just installed is at least a foot too high, or higher than it was, so it's not allowing things to drain right.
Correct.
And then those plans, we talked about this the other day, and I've been trying to figure this out. The plans were drawn wrong?
I don't know whether the plan was wrong, certainly the culvert wasn't installed at the ditch bottom, it was installed at the elevation the plan said.
Right, so when we put a tube in, who is out there to make sure it's in the bottom of the ditch? Who is responsible for that?
I've got an inspector, but he's not there all the time. This was a dirty subcontractor that challenged him.
So,
The one thing I will say is, and I've never seen anybody do this before, he started in the middle. He didn't start at the bottom, he didn't start at the top. He put a section in the middle. I'm down here one weekend and there's a hole at each end of this
no,
tube.
that would never work.
It's like, how does he know where he's starting and stopping?
So this was a subcontractor, but you go out and watch them? Who puts, I mean, somebody's got to did we pay this subcontractor?
Did somebody sign off on the project?
No.
Went out and looked at it before we paid? Or made sure it was,
Subcontractor's still there.
Who's the subcontractor?
Performance grading out of Harlem.
Well, we need to get to the bottom of how this doesn't happen again. I mean, so we've got an issue here where the tube's higher than where it was, the water can't get out, it's over top the tile lines. So, the solution you said the other day was boring.
I think we need to take the tile, connect the tile up and run it across the road into the river. And the best way to do that, I think, is to do a bore. And I've got to call into the board.
But we need to get that ditch water drained, because that ditch water,
It'll come up.
I keep cleaning the road ditch out to get my bottom to drain. If we raise that a foot, my bottom's not gonna drain like it did. Which right now it don't make any difference because it doesn't ever rain. But
Right.
one of these days it'll rain. I think it needs to be able to get that surface water back to the original depth that it was.
Okay, so that's different than the tile.
Well,
You've
you
heard-
can use the same tube, but make it big enough that it'll take some surface water too, so it drains the rest of that water out of that ditch.
So we need inlet in the ditch bottom.
Now, the question I would have on this would be, if you gotta dig up, mess with, what is the difference in doing all this boring, or just dig up the pipe, start over, put it where it's supposed to be?
We can investigate that too.
Because just do it right. But however this happened, this can't happen again, because we just put this tube in, it's gonna have to be done again.
will that end up costing us, or will it cost the subcontractor? Can we rebill, or for their mistake, or is it our mistake?
Well,
So it's gonna cost us.
it'll cost us. It'll cost some of them.
Well, we need to investigate this both ways, but we gotta get back to the original bottom of the ditch, where it was. However, it's the most reasonable way to get there, and then see how this happens, we don't do it again. How this got done and all the way put in place, it takes a while to put, how long is this tube? It's a big tube, get all this put in,
I'd say it's longer than that,
what's
but
it,
I didn't step
at least
off.
150, but great big tubes, so there's
It's 48-inch too.
it's a big deal, and the depth of the inlet and the outlet really matter. It's the most important thing to put tube in, where we're at, so.
I just said something about my tiles being in there, but I asked him if we was, he's like, we're not doing anything on you.
Yeah.
So I didn't mention that there was tiles down there to start with. They replaced the tube within the last 10 years, so I thought, I didn't figure they were gonna change the tube.
Yeah.
You know, so I really wasn't too worried about it until I went down there and they were done, and it's like, covered up two of my tile outlets. And I had to go find the third
And
one.
I didn't know about the tile until, and after.
So,
We got two things here, so the tile outlets that are covered up, that they covered up or broke or whatever happened, needs to be uncovered. The ones that are covered up, so somebody on that, figuring that out. They've gotta be uncovered, and then, of course, the level at which the tube is put in is the most important thing, where,
yeah. And I think, I mean, because I got to look and I'm like, if the neighbors tile theirs, I'm gonna have to put some more tile in, or I'm gonna have water running across my property all the time. I gotta take the water from the neighbors, it's my problem. When I get to the other corner, if we bury a tile that's just big enough for the tile that are in there, I don't have any place to go with it. Unless we go back or through the road again. So,
so somehow we gotta get down to the right level with either redo it or bore down there, whatever.
We're gonna get it fixed somewhere, because we have to deal with Andy.
So did we do the designing of the plans then?
No, I got a consultant that did the plans that.
So do the consultants ever talk to the landowners before they finalize the plans?
They also should, just the depth, I mean, the first thing you do is, what is the depth of the water? I mean, that's the bottom of the ditch, that's when you make this, that's what has to be known.
But they need to know about the tile lines too.
Right, well, it has to be lower, because that's where they were lower
Yeah.
than that.
the tube that was in there was lower than the tile.
So, yeah, they were,
Yeah.
it was lower, so it'd work. And now it won't work, 'cause it's higher.
I would say 3 or 4 inches. I don't remember for sure, but I know there was a place down there the water was set, and I think my tile lines were above that.
So in any of this investigating, if somebody didn't do something right, if there's any kind of way whoever messed this up has some kind of insurance or some kind, they make it right, we need to look into that. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
can we
gonna-
go back on the consultant?
If they have error of omissions or whatever they did, I don't know, whatever they messed up, we need to invest, because this is a pretty big deal we gotta get fixed here.
Well, and the thing about boring it, which they can decide wherever they want to dump it, right on the north side of this tube that they put in there is a big light pole. And if they go to the river, if they go straight, they gotta go quite a bit further. Just the way the land lays, because it's over further. So,
Well, we need to get on it and investigate it.
like I
And then
said,
before we go when it's done, whatever we come up with, make sure Andy's talked to, and make sure it all makes sense before we make the step to go to the next thing, and uncover his tile lines that are covered up now.
yeah, I asked him that day, I was down there, I was like, there's 2 tile lines in there, could you take and scrape the dirt off of them? Drove right past it with the excavator, 2 of them, never touched it.
Well, that needs to be handled. If they covered them up, they need to uncover it, that's my opinion,
Right.
okay?
I don't really want to go dig around down there, because there's fiber optic lines down there.
Yeah.
I mean, I did take a probe down there, and I went and found all my tile lines and marked them.
Right,
I figured if I pushed the probe through it, their wire ain't very good,
yeah.
so.
Okay, well,
That's
this
all I
needs
got.
immediate attention.
Figure out how big a pipe we're gonna put in there, and get it totally right. Because I spent the money to clean out the ditch, well, I had the county clean it out once, and after there was nothing in it, I knew that there was nothing in it, phone lines or anything like that, I've cleaned it out a time or 2. So, I'm not making the county clean out the ditch, I just keep it back haul the dirt back up the hill.
Okay, so we got a plan there, gonna go, all right,
Thank you,
well,
Andy.
thank you for coming in.
Thanks, Andy.
Okay, and on that, next up on the ordinance, or on the ordinance, on the agenda is the solar ordinance. Get my words in order here. So, I got papers here, sorting through. I tried to just read through the Madison County again, just kind of went, like we talked about last time.
Yeah,
A lot of good stuff in there. It's very well thought out. I mean, we don't have to use it all, but it is very,
It's still too restrictive, I think.
and I did pull up, because we did get that email, so I did go look at Potawatomi counties,
I did too,
and just to see, they have theirs kind of mixed in with their wind,
right?
but a lot of it, some of it was pretty similar from what Madison County had, but the setbacks are definitely different.
on the setback section, and I don't know if that's what they're thinking is too restrictive. If, I don't know if they have the wording, I don't see it. If we just put in there that they may be waived, just like the wind ordinance,
Yeah, I thought
then it kind of knocks out what they even are.
they did have that in here.
It says that.
Yeah, I think it does say that there's,
I'm not sure if that, because if they couldn't be waived, then that would be different. I think it should be the same as the wind.
I still would like to go with Mills, or Mills and Pot were done by the same, attorney. They're close to us, and I just feel like we should kind of follow along with the ones that are
Yeah.
close to us.
so it does say the setbacks can be waived.
Okay.
Page 10 talks about the setbacks in that one.
Well, on this one, on the Madison, it says, page 10, it says, are not allowed. You see that?
Where at?
Number C on number 10, page 10, C. Setback waivers are not allowed.
Oh, are not allowed.
So I'm
I
fine
would
with-
change
yeah,
that.
make
I
that
thought
one
it said
related.
allowed, yeah.
So if that,
But-
that kind of knocks out the measurements, then it makes it work. As long as they talk to people, they can waive it if they want.
And I don't think the setbacks are that bad on this, but, because I don't know. It's only a couple 100 feet difference,
Yeah,
500 feet to, I think the 300 feet was on the other one.
yeah. And the heights and depths are the,
Yeah, no, I did,
they're only 1 foot different or the same as all those other.
yeah, now the Madison one had a 14-foot height restriction. I bumped that up to 15 foot.
Is that the same as Fremont? And I think they were 15 or.
I think so.
I believe so, yeah.
And Fremont's 15, maybe Mills is 14.
I can't remember what Mills was at, but I know in
No, 15, they're both 15.
the Potawatomi one, I think. They had,
Potawatomi is 20 feet, I believe. It's on the first page.
oh, okay.
C1.
So if the setbacks can be waived, 15 feet is the same as, that's 1 foot higher. You know, if we adjust it there. Their complaint resolutions and that stuff, I like, if there happens to be a complaint. The no glare on things is really good, just in case there's a glare on the neighbor or something.
And I did like, I think both of them have escrow type things set up for any road, well, put in here that we would probably use our current road use agreement that we had come up with, but they had on Potawatomi counties, they talked about financial, the applicant shall demonstrate appropriate financial assurance to ensure road preparation, maintenance, and repair. And I think most of that, you know, we talked about having escrows and real money to put in so that we knew that we wouldn't be caught holding the bag. And I think, I don't know if it's Madison County, but I think it was 130% of what the cost would be. Can find that.
Yeah, 130%, I see that, page 20.
Okay.
The property value guarantees on there, anybody within a mile,
Yeah, I don't know how that exactly works.
I don't
but
either, but they'd have to assure them that
It was interesting.
if they surround somebody's house and they can't sell their house someday because they're surrounded, they'd have some kind of, I don't know how that works either. Well,
Both of those had, or most of the ones I've seen have had this, pretty much the same as far as landscaping buffer, signage, lighting. All of that seems to be fairly the same. They do mention, you know, revisiting after 3 years, the agreements. Also, I think Potawatomi was a little bit more stricter than Madison on when something would be decommissioned. Because I think Potawatomi County listed like 180 days if it didn't. Maybe it's the same, because
6 months.
one said 6 months and
yeah. They're both 6 months, I guess.
yeah, I guess one just said days and one said months, so. But yeah, so they're fairly comparable there, so maybe the only real sticking point would be, I think it did say the depth on the Madison one for depth of power lines, it was 10 feet.
Same with our wind.
Yep.
Well, the thing I see is that page 10, C of Madison, that I think needs to be the same as the wind, and they can waive the setbacks if they choose. That would fix that section, and then I think public notice is good, people need to know what's going on if something's going on. Like there would be a public notice, which is on page 7. Really, I don't see what is outside of maybe that fixing that. Where is everything's very similar to the same restrictions. I don't see the different restrictions. It's 1 foot different on the height, and we could talk about just making it 15 to match.
Yeah.
So,
I would like to maybe, because I know William he can't be here till, because I'd kind of like to see what the impact to the other project that they're thinking about.
oh, yeah, we gotta do what we think's right here by
You know,
protect the county and the people, make it all
yeah. I mean, I don't think,
as good as we can.
from what I understand, I don't think the setbacks would be an issue out there for that project, but
So it's too restrictive. Which parts are too restrictive, Judy?
I just think there are several places, I can't tell you right now.
Because
I
I'm trying
had
to
some
hunt for 'em.
marked.
Yeah, what's different? The only thing I see is 1 foot different on height, and that you couldn't waive them, and I think it needs to be able to be waived myself.
That's one thing, yeah.
So we can change that to match, I think. So then
Well,
that's
we
just,
talked about taking out the soil and conservation,
yeah,
soil and water conservation thing.
Yep.
a lot of it is very similar, very, very similar. There's just a few. The noise section, I think, is the same as what we put in the wind ordinance. They're very similar, and make sure they match up.
And they did have a minimum ground clearance of 4 feet. Some of those other ones were like 2 foot. So I'm not sure, if that's something that, just to be able to have ground cover underneath. Also making sure that when the project is done or removed, that ground is returned to the original, ability to farm or graze.
And is that really up
pasture,
to us, or
whatever.
is that up to the landowner?
Right.
Well, I suppose, it kind of.
We're infringing on the landowner's
I know,
rights.
but doesn't that kind of protect the landowner a little bit?
But they
If
can-
if they get the land back?
I think it's up to them to do what they want to with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
our thing affects what it does to a neighbor or the county. It's-
But you're taking the rights away from the landowner if you put these restrictions on it.
So, like a lot of the things with the planting the trees and stuff around the edge, that's to protect the people around them. It's not, if they wanna do something to their farm and it does something, that's their right, but they just can't affect their neighbors. I think, so, I see what you're saying, but,
I think I think you're trying to put unreasonable things on the landowner themselves. They ought to be able to do what they want to with their land. Again,
Some
here
of
we
it's
go
kinda
with
like,
eminent domain.
No, but so I guess I look at it like if you live in town, you can't just build anything you want in your yard without going and getting a permit or being approved, right?
Well, I think that's totally different. I mean, you're you're out in the country where you're wide open and,
you see, right now,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
we have it, not in
Still-
Page County, you can't. In Page County, right now, if you build something industrial, like this would be, you have to go to the Board of Adjustment if you wanna go over so high. If our agriculture.
I just think we're putting too much on the, we're giving too much to the county and not enough to the landowner. I think we're trying to restrict things for the landowner, and I don't think that's right. I think the landowner ought to be able to do what they want to with their property within reason, so they're
Right,
not
and
hurting
that's-
their landowner.
right, and that's
But
what
as
we're
far
trying
as
to-
when
so
it
they're-
returns to them, it's their land, they ought to be
Right.
able to do what they want to with it.
Right.
And we shouldn't be able to say, you've got
well,
to
as
do
long as
this.
it's not impacting somebody else.
Well, it's their land.
I know, but you can't just go impact somebody else with your land if it's gonna.
Right.
I mean, there's all kinds of things you have to do.
There's a quote, you have the right to swing your fist all you want until you hit somebody else's nose. So you gotta, yes, on your place.
And most of these solar are not gonna be right next to the landowner. You've got your setbacks.
Right.
So why should we put restrictions on the landowner?
I think it just needs to be to protect the county and the neighbors, anybody around them.
What are you doing protecting the county with their land?
The roads is all I'm talking about. We make sure we protect if they tear up the road.
Well, I understand that. What
The
I'm
only thing
saying
I
is
was
when you
saying
turn-
was like, if they pick up and leave and the subsidies run out and then these solar panels are left everywhere, does that landowner have recourse to clean up his land and get it back to the way it was before they came in? Or does there need to be something in writing that says, hey, we're protecting the landowners so that when that project is finished, they get the land back
No,
in the
you're-
condition that it was before?
Yeah, but you're
That's-
saying what they have to do to it
Well,
when it comes back to the landowner.
not the landowner, but the company, to make sure that it's put back the way it was
Sounds like
with the
basically.
topsoil, I don't know, I just thought there
I
should
just-
be some protections there for those, just so that the companies know when they come to Page County that, hey, we're gonna put it back when we're done.
But you're basically saying the landowner has to do this.
No, I was saying that the companies, whoever own, if they pull up stakes and leave, they're responsible for putting that land back to whatever it was before. If it was pasture land, if it was cropland, if it was, you know, if there's topsoil missing, they need to replace that. And I think that's just a smart decision to protect the landowner.
There's, I don't know, a lot of ways to think about it. The main concern we would have as a county, in my mind, is just we have to look out for the infrastructure of the county, and that one party can't take advantage of another in the light of they do something that affects the neighbor, crosses over the line. We're trying to keep from that. And in Page County, we do have an ordinance in place that if somebody wants to build something industrial over so high, I can't remember what the height is, they have to go to the Board of Adjustment, and they have to tell the neighbors, and they have to have a hearing, which is kind of what we're trying to put together, this all one set of rules, so they don't have to have a lot of hearings. So again, on this, like the Madison County, what's too restrictive?
You're gonna do what you wanna do anyway, so it's, whatever I have to say won't matter.
Well, I'm asking, 15 foot is what every other county around us is, seems like, they're 14.
I just think there are a lot of things in here that maybe aren't necessary.
Yeah, I don't think that everything in here's,
I think there's some
doesn't
things that are
pertain
not
to us.
necessary.
And like I
Yes.
said, we can still discuss, I think,
Yeah,
going forward. We're not deciding today. And I would be happy to hear, because I've made notes in here on my stuff that what I thought was too over the top and not anything that we would do. And I am not just saying rubber stamp this and say this is our ordinance by any means. That is not what I thought we would do. I thought there was a lot of good things.
Well, why don't
There's a
you-
lot of things that are
why
not.
don't you make a list of what you think needs to come out?
Okay, yeah.
And
I
then,
can-
Well,
and
that's why I
email
said-
it or whatever, because I think there's some things that,
Well, what are those?
that
That's what
don't
I'm
need to
asking.
be. And I'm asking Todd.
Okay, I don't
Also.
know what, because I've looked through it, and that's why I'm trying to figure out what is it.
Yep, I mean, there's a lot of things I'm like, a lot of stuff that we don't have in this county that are set up big, property wise, and even on Potawatomi County, they have a lot of other boards that have to go through things.
Why don't you send out what you think needs to come out of it?
Okay.
That's what I'd like to see,
Okay, I'll send it to both of you.
because I don't wanna approve this.
No, not, like I said, we're not
Like
rubber
it is.
stamping this
No.
and doing it. I just wanted us to have this as a good starting point, that we can have key points that we can talk through and negotiate and try to come to an agreement on. But there are, there's good things in there as well. So, and there's a lot of things that also match with other counties that have done. So I don't think we're trying to recreate the
And
wheel.
Madison County does not have any solar.
I don't
And
know.
if we're trying to prevent solar from coming into Page
No, we're
County,
not.
but it sounds like we are, by putting a lot of restrictions
What are the
on it.
difference in the restrictions, though? They're almost all the same as every other county.
Look at Madison, look at Mills and Potawatomi and
did.
compare.
I looked at Mills
So,
and at
just-
Fremont.
I will
Just make
send
your
I would
out,
list,
like to
make
ask
your
you-
list.
I would like to ask you to email me a list, Judy, of what you think is too restrictive.
Okay.
What you see. We can look it all out.
I do not want to take this, I do not want to prevent solar from coming into Page County.
no, I don't
We're
either.
preventing other things from coming into Page County,
I don't
and I
think we're
don't want to
preventing
see
anything
that.
from coming
Not
into Page
about
County.
preventing, it's about
I don't want to
protecting
see
and
that.
doing our
It's
job.
about protecting
I
everybody's rights.
understand that, it's
And-
protecting the landowner, it's protecting the county, but I
mean-
think at some point, we're going a little too far on some things. So I think we need to look at this. People that I've talked to don't have any problem with solar. And I think we're just not being progressive, and I think we need to look at this very carefully before we put something into the law that is gonna prevent solar from coming into Page County.
No.
Well,
So,
a lot of what's in these ordinances we're looking at is already in place in Page County. These noise restrictions, all these things are already here. We're here a long time ago. So
that's fine, Jacob, but we need to look at this so that we do not prevent solar from coming into the county.
solar can come in and not affect or hurt the county or anybody else adversely that's outside of the project, then yes, let them come in. That's our job to make sure that's done right. So,
To me, it looks like we're trying to prevent it, so let's look at it, let's move forward and look at it and see where we go.
okay. So, we'll talk about it again next Thursday, I guess.
I'll get my list put together.
Anything else here we have, let's see. Go on number 10, communication. Here at the end of the meeting, we're gonna head to Shenandoah, have a look over there. Anything else going on?
We had an EMS meeting on Tuesday, or Monday, that went very well. We didn't have a quorum put together, but we did review, they do have a nice flyer that they're putting together that's gonna come out and will be available for their public information talks that they're gonna do in communities and things. They're planning on having people at certain events that are coming up, so I know Coin has a fish fry coming up, and they also have a May Day breakfast, I believe, on May 1st. That's there's gonna be representatives there just talking to the public about it. And so, yeah, it's coming along pretty good.
I had an interagency meeting on Monday or Tuesday. Very good. Always very good.
Okay. Our next meeting is Tuesday at noon.
9. Is it noon?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I had 9
Oh,
on here.
yeah, next Tuesday for the
At noon?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. Got that? Anything else? We got claims here. We had some claims this week.
Okay. Okay.
Got a chance to look at the claims, go over them?
Yep.
I'll make
Got
a
a
motion
motion?
that we approve claims.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the claims, bills? If not, vote on that.
Yes.
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 Okay. Okay, next up's the minutes. Let's see here. Let's see here. Okay. Here's what I have to say. I'll hand those out.
Yeah, I didn't.
Let's see, 25th, 28th. There's some good. There's 2. Here's 2. Okay. All right, have the minutes of the 25th and the 28th. I've amended the extra information out as we were guided to do, so I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from March 25th and 28th as amended to meet the Iowa Public Information Board guidelines.
Second?
All right, any discussion? We'll vote.
Yes.
No.
Yes. Okay, that's done. So we're gonna recess to drive over to Shenandoah and start up again there to look at their landscaping ideas. So we need a motion to go into recess. Do we do a motion?
Make a motion that we go into recess?
I'll second that.
Head to Shenandoah. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, we're gonna recess, go to Shenandoah.